Today I want to talk about the 4 Ps of Imposter Syndrome. These came from the 2019 research study I ran, over 2,000 people internationally, and we can use them either for ourselves or for our colleagues or loved ones to spot when imposter syndrome might be coming out to play. So the first P will not come as a surprise to most of those watching this who've got imposter syndrome. It is perfectionism. Perfectionism, setting our standards incredibly high and writing it off as fluke or luck if we dare to actually achieve them. What we found in the research study is there are some people who are what I would call personality perfectionists. Everything always has to be just so. But there are others for whom it suddenly comes on as a coping strategy for stress, burnout, or imposter syndrome. You can spot this because somebody will suddenly start working much longer hours. Things will start taking them much longer. They'll be second guessing how people might respond. They might hold back on making decisions because they're scared of getting it wrong. So P number 1 is perfectionism. P number 2 is procrastination. Okay, this is not all about cute cat videos. Procrastination also happens whenever we are doing a task that is like dancing around the edges of what we're meant to be doing, rather than diving in and getting it done. I just published the 2022 research study, and we found that over 70% of people with imposter syndrome were using procrastination as a coping mechanism more than once a day. You heard that right, okay? So if this is you, you're in great company. The third P, so we've got perfectionism, procrastination, it's project paralysis. This is the classic rabbit in headlights. You're kind of hiding like a kid playing hide and seek behind the curtains or behind, just closing their eyes like they think you can't see them. We're hiding from the thing that it is that we need to do that's opened up the Imposter Syndrome Gap. I've put a link to that video below this if you've not seen it yet. The Imposter Syndrome Gap is important to know about. It widens the gap so our bridge of coping strategies is no longer enough. And so what we do is we pretend we simply can't see whatever it is that's frankly freaking us out. The other thing that we do is we then use the stress and adrenaline of the deadline to push on through and get it done, often doing stuff like pulling an all-nighter. So this is project paralysis. And the fourth P is people pleasing. Not having boundaries, over-giving too much for free, not charging what we're worth, not asking for a salary raise, walking into a meeting with one set of priorities, coming out with another, volunteering for things that aren't really our job when we're already drowning because we want to feel safe, that we belong, and not feel rejected. So the 4 Ps are perfectionism, procrastination, project paralysis, and people pleasing. And what we also found in this model is it perfectly fits the fight, flight, freeze response, the sympathetic nervous system that fires off when we feel fear or we feel we're in danger. So this runs at an autonomic level, which means your nervous system is doing all of this for you. So that whole project, that whole idea of like the bridge of coping strategies of how to cope with imposter syndrome, how to handle it, the problem with that is you've already done the 4 Ps by the time the conscious bit of the brain goes, yeah, imposter syndrome, self-sabotage. Okay, so the way it fits the perfectionism is the fight. I'm going to slay that goal. I'm going to beat that target. Procrastination is the flight. We are busy and moving and running, busyness as I call it, but we're not actually heading towards our goal. Then you've got the freeze, quite obviously, project paralysis. And then the people pleasing is a new category from psychologists called fawning, which is the equivalent of stroking the saber-toothed tiger on the nose and asking it not to bite you. So you can see this is running at an unconscious level. This is why the work I do in Ditching Imposter Syndrome, here's one I prepared earlier, or in my Imposter Syndrome Bootcamp, or Stepping Up to Lead, or with my Imposter Syndrome First Aiders or mentor training, it's about going below the surface. Setting yourself free from the coping strategies so that you've cleared out what was triggering imposter syndrome, so you can close the imposter syndrome gap to become all of who you really are, so you simply don't have to worry about it in future. It is not incurable. The very first step is finding out whether you're even running imposter syndrome, okay? Which of the 3 types you are actually running if you are, and getting a personalized action plan to make a start today on turning this around. You can do that as my gift. We fed the research into a quiz style assessment tool. The link is here. Go and take the assessment now, read your personalized action plan, take some action, and then reply to the email you'll get there from me. Let me know, what is your do one thing? What are you going to do today to start turning imposter syndrome around? If you found this video useful, make sure you subscribe, which will be there, I think, and hit the little bell button as you get notified whenever a new how-to or inspiration on imposter syndrome is published. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.